An update on the investigation into a shooting this morning on Madison's South Side.
How a new bill working its way through the Capitol could expand Medicaid coverage to new moms in Wisconsin.
And what to know ahead of time if you're planning to go to Green Bay for the NFL draft. It starts in just 2 days. Thanks for staying with us tonight at 5, everybody.
And we do start with breaking news out of the town of Belleville. A 23-year-old man has been arrested and faces charges of first offense OWI and 2 counts of hit and run.
The Belleville High School was placed on a brief hold after the man struck 2 students' cars in the parking lot. Belleville Police Chief Chris Hughes says the hold instructed students and staff to remain in the building until an all clear was announced. No injuries were reported, and Chief Hughes says the hold was used as a precaution in a situation that could have impacted student or staff safety.
Madison police are investigating after a person was shot on the city's south side. Happened about 8 a.m. Madison police spokesperson Stephanie Fryer says the shooting happened on Baird Street near Penn Park. In an update, officers say the suspect and victim knew each other, and the victim is last known to be in critical condition. Now, after a foot chase, the 25-year-old suspect was taken into custody. In a press briefing with Madison's interim police chief, he says that shootings are still trending downward in the city.
From January 1st through mid-April, we're actually seeing a 10% decrease in the number of shootings citywide. So we've had a cluster here in recent days, but we're still trending in a good way.
Nationwide, gun violence has been trending downward for the last 5 years. According to the trace.org, 34 people were injured by guns. 8 were killed in Madison last year. That includes the 3 people killed and 6 injured in the Abundant Life Christian School shooting in December. A Wisconsin Department of Revenue special agent stopped a nearly $900,000 unclaimed property fraud scheme spanning 3 states. Special Agent Michael Austin coordinated with law enforcement in Tennessee, also in Georgia, to arrest a suspect using burner phones and fake claims. The Department of Revenue jumped into action after a Tennessee bank flagged suspicious unclaimed property checks totaling around $900,000. The former law student was sentenced to 15 months, and over $800,000 were returned to its rightful owner, who didn't even know he was owed.
Let's get a look at your first warn forecast on this Earth Day. A little rain to start this morning, but then sunny and mild this afternoon. Blaze Keller is on the weather patio. Blaze?
That's right. It is beautiful outside. I think I just muscle memory grabbed the jacket because it has been a little bit of a cooler stretch here, but plenty of sunshine out this afternoon. The birds behind me are enjoying it. The fish in the pond are enjoying it as well. We are going to track the chance for some showers and thunderstorms this evening. It doesn't look super great. We're watching where the stationary front sets up, and right now it looks like it's really staying near Peoria, so we may go into the rest of this evening and into the overnight hours on the quiet side before more showers and thunderstorms return as we kick off Wednesday. So there is that marginal risk for severe weather. Large hail, rather, is going to be our greatest threat, but as I mentioned, most of that rain activity is well south into Peoria. So we're going to talk about a few more rain chances throughout the upcoming work week and talk about maybe some severe weather to kick off our next work week in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Blaze was just talking about hail, and you'll recall that last Friday, southern Wisconsin was hit by some devastating hailstorms. People who live in Evansville are still recovering and repairing their property. In a letter from the city administrator, he says to call the city to report water and light meter damage. Contractors or solicitors going door to door are required to have a solicitor's license in Evansville. So if somebody approaches your home, ask for proof of their solicitor's license. Yard waste pickup will be running more often the next 2 weeks, so you can set items at the curb. Don't put them in the gutter.
Well, the city of Madison is expected to grow by more than 100,000 people by the year 2050. The population of Verona is set to rise by 2 to 4% every year.
Verona is rewriting its comprehensive plan to account for growth and what residents want to see. Armand Rahman has more.
Verona, Wisconsin, hometown USA, may seem like a small suburb, but it's grown by almost 4,000 people in the past 10 years, and the city says it has to prepare for it to grow even more.
It's just amazing how the city has grown in the last 35 years.
Kathy Johnson has lived in Verona since 1988.
So we've seen a lot of changes in those many years.
She's seen a lot more cars on the road, too, a top concern for many residents, especially at Verona and Main Streets.
The traffic jams at morning, lunchtime, and evening. People are taking shortcuts to residential areas, And so they're seeing a lot more traffic, and it makes it more dangerous for some of us walkers because there's no sidewalks.
At an open house Tuesday, residents like her shared thoughts on some preliminary data
They really didn't cover very much on sustainability.
as city officials start rewriting the comprehensive plan.
It's used as the roadmap for how the city is going to develop in the future.
Bike paths are part of the roadmap Connor Nett hopes stays.
Personally, I like to bike to work sometimes, even from Monona, so it's a long bike ride.
Like Connor, the city found most people work in Verona but live somewhere else. But they expect Verona's population to grow too.
We're seeing a lot of people move to the area from those other communities. Also, Verona is a large employer.
Nearly half of residents that moved in the past 10 years are renting.
The number of people that are in the 30 percentile of above 30 percentile paying for housing, and that's very high.
City planners say they'll work through different ways to grow housing in the comprehensive plan before council adopts it next winter.
If you couldn't make it during lunch, there'll be another open house style meeting at the public library from 6 to 8 p.m. Reporting in Verona, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
And some interesting data the city collected about Verona. The population is mostly women, and over the past 10 years, they saw both children ages 5 to 14 and adults 60 to 74 grow the most.
A unique film festival is bringing mental health stories to the big screen this weekend. The festival features 16 short films and one feature with screenings from international filmmakers. Tickets start at $40 for an all-day pass, with proceeds supporting mental health organizations. The Mental Health Warrior Film Festival is returning for its second year, showcasing powerful narratives about mental health struggles and triumphs.
Because we are fighters. I mean, people who struggle with, who have severe anxiety, depression, OCD, schizophrenia, bipolar, we fight. Sometimes every day is a battle, but we fight. And I believe that creativity, film in particular, can help us.
The event happens May 3rd at Flick's Brew House, offering a platform for storytellers to break down mental health stigmas and share personal journeys of resilience. A new bill working its way through the state capitol would expand Medicaid coverage to new mothers.
Now, if it passes, it would allow mothers to receive health care for a full year after giving birth, similar to many other states. Our political reporter Will Keneally joined us now. He's live at the Capitol with more on this measure. Will?
Yeah, this bill passed out of the state Senate today by a 32-1 margin. That's a wide margin that we rarely ever see in the state capitol here. Now, the bill authors say that it's an important step for women's health care.
It's a simple, meaningful step that can change outcomes for families across our state.
It's rare that you see a moment like this.
That's why this is extremely important that we get this done today.
That's why today matters. Today matters for our children, our mothers.
Where both sides agree on a policy, especially one involving Medicaid.
There are so many Republicans that have signed on to this bill, and I am hopeful that we can get this done.
This bill to extend Medicaid coverage for a year instead of 60 days passed out of the state Senate by near unanimous support. But in the state assembly, it could be a different story.
We've not had the discussion this session yet about postpartum.
A similar bill failed the state assembly last session, meaning Wisconsin was among 2 states that didn't expand postpartum Medicaid.
My position's been fairly clear from the very beginning. I've never supported an expansion of welfare. I can't imagine that I would ever support one. But we have to talk about it as a caucus and see where everybody else is.
Yeah, so that, again, is unclear whether we will see this become law, as it might see that hang up in the state assembly. Now, the state assembly was also in session today, wrapping up just a few minutes ago. You can see some lawmakers kind of filing out behind me here, passing a slate of bills, including some changes to the state's unemployment insurance system. Now, those bills will still need to head to the state assembly and get a sign-off from the governor. Reporting from the state capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, Will, thank you. A live look at the NFL Draft Theater in Green Bay. Look at it. They've got it jazzed up pretty good there. Just 2 days away now from the draft coming to Wisconsin. The theater is where the draft picks will actually be announced. And while that has limited access, the 800,000 square foot draft experience is free and it's open to all fans. Now, even though it is free, you do need a ticket to enter draft grounds. You can download the official NFL One Pass mobile app to register for a ticket or log on to NFL.com/draft access. You can also register right there on site at fan service locations. But keep in mind, entrance is first come, first serve, and capacity limits may be enforced.
Another thing you need to know is parking. If you're driving to Green Bay, Eric, tomorrow, which you are, keep in mind, parking ramp fees will be doubled. That's for funds to help cover increased city staffing and operational costs that are expected with the surge in visitors. The original $1 an hour or $12 a day will now be $2 per hour or $24 a day. This only applies Thursday through Saturday, though, and it is only for the parking ramps. The cost of meters will stay the same, as city officials in Green Bay say it would cost more money to reprogram the whole system. Those costs are on your screen right now. They start at $1 for the first 2 hours, up to $3 an hour for over 5 hours.
And don't forget, News 3 Now will be talking about the NFL draft in Wisconsin all this week, and we will be live in Green Bay, as Susan mentioned. Tomorrow, I'll be joined by Sports Director Zach Henley alongside Andrew Banstra and our Packers insider Jason Wilde, and they'll have the sights, the sounds, and strategy leading up to Thursday's first-round picks.
Blaze returns next. He'll have a complete look at our first warn forecast here and if you're heading to Green Bay.
And how are you marking Earth Day today? A Mall of America, well, they released thousands of ladybugs. How they're helping, that's coming up. And the back and forth continues on Wall Street today. The Dow bouncing back up more than 1,000 points. The Nasdaq adds 429.5. The S&P jumps 129.5. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Good evening. A unique day in American history is ending, a day set aside for a nationwide outpouring of mankind seeking its own survival. Earth Day, a day dedicated to enlisting all the citizens of a bountiful country in the common cause of saving life from the deadly byproducts of that bounty.
Great writing, right?
Good writing there,
Walter Cronkite, 55 years ago, talking about the very first Earth Day, founded, of course, by Wisconsin Senator and Governor Gaylord Nelson. All these years later, efforts continue for a better, healthier planet. Current Governor Tony Evers says Wisconsin planted over 10 million trees last year, all part of his trillion tree pledge that he made back in 2021. The current goal, a little smaller than that, at 100 million trees by the end of 2030. This pledge also includes the goal of conserving over 125,000 acres of forest land.
Visitors to Minnesota's Mall of America were met with 144,000 ladybugs. They were released on purpose for an annual Earth Day event. With help from families, the bugs were set free in the Nickelodeon universe to protect the mall's 30,000 plants, which actually help purify the air for millions of visitors each year. The ladybugs also serve as a natural pesticide. They eat pests that harm the plants.
Temu and Shein recently issued notices saying they are set to make price adjustments this Friday. It's due to President Trump's tariffs imposed on Chinese goods. China, the largest clothing importer to the United States, so these tariffs will most likely raise the costs of most clothing, according to trade policy experts and economists.
The number of TGI Fridays restaurants nationwide is shrinking. The casual dining chain now has only 85 restaurants left in the United States. That's down from about 270 locations at the beginning of last year. The chain's parent company has continued to shutter locations, including 30 in just the last month. That also includes the remaining Madison location. TGI Fridays' parent company cites the pandemic as the primary driver of its financial challenges.
Well, time to get a complete look at your first warn forecast. Here's meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze?
And we are looking at a generally quiet night, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions. Once again, we will see the chance for some showers and thunderstorms as we go into your Wednesday. And overnight, we could see a few showers and thunderstorms staying south of the Illinois border. There is that marginal risk for severe weather this evening. We'll keep an eye on it, but it continues to look like it's going to stay around Peoria, so we may dodge this round of showers and thunderstorms tonight. Wednesday, warmer, back into the 70s with scattered rain showers both in the morning and then especially into the evening and overnight into Thursday. And that means that we're going to continue to keep that rain chance throughout the rest of this week. So right now, those showers that are along the stationary front staying off to our south, that front eventually lifts northwards as we go later into your Wednesday. We'll be dealing with some morning activity activity on Wednesday that moves off towards the east, and then we see more showers and thunderstorms coming out of Iowa and Minnesota. Those will move into western Wisconsin as our next system begins to move its way out of the Rockies and into the Midwest. We've opened up the Gulf, so we don't see a lot of big organized systems that kind of clear out the weather overhead. We're just watching as little blips of energy move in from the south, and that's what's exactly going to happen here. This low pressure system will move on in. It's not organized, but it's going to continue to bring us that shower and thunderstorm threat into your Thursday, overnight Thursday into Friday. Finally, a high pressure system will move on in and clear out the clouds as well as the rain chance as we look to end the work week, go into at least your Saturday. Sunday onwards, we see another chance for showers and thunderstorms. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Rain chances over the next 7 days, once again looking as though Iowa and parts of Minnesota picking up possibly 2 inches or more of rain over 7 days. We could see isolated spots of 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain, mainly across northern Wisconsin and along the Mississippi River over the next 7 days. Along the Lake Michigan shoreline, not looking as promising, but 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain is possible as we continue to watch the shower and thunderstorm threat over the next week or so. Over the next 6 to 10 days, so the end of our extended forecast, it looks to continue to remain rainy. We're sitting underneath at least a 50 to 60% chance of being wetter than average. Again, the Gulf is open, so all that moisture that's primarily to our south and the warmer air has to go somewhere as our jet stream pushes into Canada. So where does it go? It goes northwards, which is why we're going to remain wetter as well as warmer than average over the next 6 to 10 days. Interestingly enough, the Storm Prediction Center, SPC, has put out a day 7 outlook. So this is 7 days, a week from now, which they don't typically do unless they are seeing high confidence that there could likely be some severe weather. So this would be next Monday into Tuesday. While we're not necessarily in the threat now, as we get closer to next Monday, this could move further east or it could stay further to our west. I bring this to your attention for 2 reasons. One, because it could impact western Wisconsin, but the Storm Prediction Center, when they issue these outlooks this far in advance, it typically means that when we get to that day, that threat becomes either an enhanced or moderate risk. So we're going to continue to watch this setup. For now, the worst of the weather does look to remain off to our west. And again, if you're heading up to Lambeau, take that umbrella because we're going to be dodging showers and thunderstorms pretty much from Wednesday through Friday of this week. There's a look at your 7 and 10 day forecast. Showers and thunderstorms return as we kick off next week, but we do maybe dry out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as we round out April and go into May.
It's hard to believe, almost May. Thank you, Blaze. Coming up, passengers talk about some tense moments after being evacuated from a burning plane on a runway in Orlando yesterday. The story next at 5.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, the FAA is investigating yesterday's fiery moment involving that Delta airliner.
It happened Monday on a runway in Orlando. Chris Van Cleve has the story.
Flames erupted from the engine of a Delta Airlines Airbus A330 Monday. Flight 1213, with 294 people on board,
stay seated, stay calm,
had just pushed back from the gate in Orlando. It was heading for Atlanta. Kyle Becker was sitting in row 35.
I heard some people yelling fire, so I opened the window, looked, and there was fire on the engine.
What goes through your mind when you saw fire coming out of the engine?
A little scary, just never had happened to me before. Start thinking like, okay, what's next steps? Just trying to remain calm.
We're calling the fire truck right now.
Passengers evacuated using emergency exit slides as fire crews responded.
I was an airline pilot for a couple of decades, and certainly if you've got fire on the airplane and you have the opportunity to do so, get those passengers off the airplane and get them off quickly. The Airbus has an automatic start sequence, and ideally, the ignition occurs before the fuel is poured into it. It looks like somehow fuel got into the tailpipe and then it was ignited. It's supposed to happen the other way around.
In a statement, Delta apologized to customers, saying nothing is more important than safety. The airline says it received no initial reports of injuries. I'm Chris Van Cleve in Phoenix.
The Education Department says starting May 5th, it will begin collecting payments for student loans that are in default. According to the department, more than 5 million borrowers are in default, and 4 million more could be in the same position in a few months. For those who are behind on their payments, that could mean wage garnishment or money withheld from tax refunds and Social Security benefits.
All of the people in default, we are now seeing reporting to credit agencies. We haven't seen that before.
Wow.
So we now know that credit scores are dropping for these borrowers by somewhere around 130 points.
The department says less than 40% of borrowers are current on their student loan payments. We'll get a final check of the weather when we come back.
What are the rights of parents when it comes to the kind of books read in the classroom? The Supreme Court heard arguments about that today.
And on this Earth Day, the nuclear waste disaster in the suburbs is one of the country's largest metro areas. We begin a series of investigative reports tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And coming up at 6, we look at what feels like an increase in violent crime in Madison, but we'll look at the numbers and hear from the experts on the direction that things are going. Again, that's tonight, News 3 Now at 6.
Finally at 5, are you looking for a fun summer gig? Well, Team Cream Puff is hiring. The Wisconsin State Fair Original Cream Puffs is recruiting for seasonal part-time roles. That includes a social media coordinator and an HR assistant role. Oh, they don't need a taste tester, I guess, right? The group is preparing to serve around 500,000 cream puffs at the fair. You can find the position posted on originalcreampuffs.com.
And we go back to Blaze, a final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we're still eyeing the chance for some showers and thunderstorms this evening, but for now they continue to remain into more Peoria, seeing some lightning trying to get closer to Rockford and Dubuque, but for now it looks like that stationary front is staying well off to our south. But we'll keep an eye on it. Showers and thunderstorms still stick around for your Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We finally dry out by Saturday, and then we're eyeing yet again another chance for showers and thunderstorms Monday and Tuesday of next week, but we could see our first 80s by next Monday, 77 to start off next week.
Well, at least it'll be nice and mild up in Green Bay, too.
I was going to say, yeah.
Good stuff.
Blaze, thanks. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News as we take a look live at the draft stage in Green Bay.